You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. You'll be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At last, long love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to wanna lonely nights. I love you, baby, trust in me when I say, oh pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby, let me love you. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'll be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At last, long love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I love you, baby, and if it's quite alright, I need you, baby, to wanna lonely nights. I love you, baby, trust in me when I say, oh pretty baby, don't bring me down, I pray. Oh pretty baby, now that I found you, stay and let me love you, baby, let me love you. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off you. You'll be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At last, long love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive.
With you all summer and after rain. With you all summer and after
Welcome. We are back another day in the market.
with you all summer and after rain. With you
All right, so
all summer and
I would say very crazy today. Today was not really crazy in a sense of price action, but what we were seeing intraday was crazy. So it was kind of crazy in a very different way compared to what we've been used to, which is just crazy volatility. Today for a long time was a lot of just choppiness, same as yesterday. I was not live last night, so we have 2 days of market action to recap today. We've pulled back for 2 days, and can't be surprised. I was hinting towards a pullback for the last few streams, and honestly, it was taking longer than I expected. Like I've been waiting for this since like the end of last week, so it's not like I thought exactly today. I was thinking days ago that we were probably getting ready to pull back, and we just started going sideways, and now we're starting to give up that upper range. So there's a lot going on. I was actually going to say tonight on the stream that I think that the pullback was going to continue, but then in the last hour of the day, we really saw it kind of, I think you dropped like another 0.5%. So you kind of did get a lot of selling pressure done, but we'll see. I need to look at the charts, so I haven't really recapped anything. AMC had a crazy run, and then it's been pulling back, but it did hit the fourth. It perfectly, like, I mean, let's just look at this really quickly. I'm going to come back to it. It is up a few percent after hours, but I mean, just look at this. Like, you can't make this stuff up. AMC was alerted right over here. It never stopped out. It hit the first target and the second target twice, actually. But you can see it never stopped out. It never closed at or under the stop, and like literally alerted at the bottom. And my targets were set here in February, I believe is when I alerted this, and it not perfectly, but almost perfectly hit the fourth target before a major pullback. So that was pretty cool. Even GameStop bounced off of a key level we're going to be talking about. Bitcoin's pulling back off the 200-day moving average. We're going to start off with crypto. I'm going to talk about some other markets. We're going to talk about the stock market, individual stocks. I'm going to get you all ready for the end of the week and for next week. So there's a lot to break down tonight. GameStop was up huge after hours.
And there never will be.
What was the rumors or whatever it was? Like a rumors of a split or something? Let me just look up GME split on Twitter, see what pops up. Alright, this is Seeking Alpha. I've had some bad luck with them in the past, but let me take a look if it'll load. Alright, it's literally just, actually no, it's not just headline. Okay, there's a paywall, great. Alright, so let me try and find something, because I don't know if this is a rumor, if the actual company said something. I'm sure you all know, but I have no clue yet. So let's see if I can find another article. GameStop intends to implement a stock split through a dividend, potentially. Is that what I'm seeing? There was an 8K. GameStop 8K shows companies plan to request shareholder approval at an upcoming annual meeting to increase the authorized shares of Class A common stock from 300 million to 1 million in order to implement a stock split. I'm literally just looking at tweets. I haven't read any articles, so go fact check all that yourself. Okay, this is just straight from Twitter. I'm not looking into any of these, so but I see this picture. So we have all that, and yeah, it's up big. So that's what's going on over there. We're gonna come back to GameStop. We're gonna talk about FSR, which had some news after hours and is breaking out and back testing a breakout. We're gonna talk about clov, which is pulled back, and key part of the stream is going to be about Tesla as well. Insanity, but we're going to get to all of that. We're going to start off with Bitcoin, which is currently up 14% since the entry. This morning it was up, I think, around 17% since the entry, and I told all of you that I'm just going to mark green on the sheet. It spent multiple days. I wanted to give it a chance for that first target, but it spent multiple days rejecting that first target under the 200-day moving average. Didn't want to risk it, and thankfully I did, in the morning, let all of you know that I was just going to mark it green at a 17%, because now it's only up 14%, so pull back a little bit. Yeah, variables changed a little bit. There was a little bit of a pullback. I'm not sure if I'm lagging right now. I think it's fine. I don't know. I might just be saying that I'm not lagging. I'm not completely sure. Let me put up my mic too. Am I lagging? Let me know in the chat if everything's good or not. Alright, I think it's okay because nobody's really chatting anything. So yeah, shared that earlier in the day. Same thing for the BNT crypto swing. That was 1% away from target, and I said this morning I'm just going to mark this green on the sheet. So yeah, XTZ though, Tesla, which we're going to look at all these charts, but this was 2.5% away from the first target, so I guess I can't really mark it green. But if it does fall back to the entry, it'll be a break even. So that's where we're currently at. All right, so actually we can look at that really quickly. This was a weekly sheet. So yeah, you can see a few of these I just marked green on the sheet because the variables in the market, and a decent amount of swings green. A few of them are like red. The market's pulled back for about 2 days now. We'll see what happens. And then a premium swing I marked green as well today for a 17% gain. So in terms of technicals on Bitcoin, I don't know why it's still saying I'm lagging. Should be fine. All right, so for the technicals on Bitcoin, it rejected the 200-day moving average. Now it's trying to backtest this 45.7K level. It's potentially under it for a little bit right now. The daily candle closes in 16 minutes for Bitcoin, but you can see this level. Very, 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 very key level for Bitcoin. If you want this to break over the 200-day moving average soon, you're probably going to need to hold this level literally right now. So right now we are witnessing a back test on Bitcoin. Broke above the level, now it's back testing the level. So this is like literally exactly where Bitcoin is right now is where you want to see it bounce. Otherwise, you know, we're back in the range that we were in before, right? So it's a key level. Maybe if this doesn't hold and you get a little bit of a fake out for a day or two, maybe you just back test the supply line instead. But like definitely you would not want to fall under like 44.5K. That's when it starts to look like a very large 200-day moving average rejection. In terms of the other crypto trades, Tezos, yeah, look, it was up 20%, 19% since the entry. The target was 22%. It was literally 3% away. Now it's pulling back. A little bit rough. Hopefully it can just hold the support and then rally back up. BNT, I just marked the screen on the sheet. It basically hit the first target. I mean, look how close that is. So that's a nice little move right there. Hopefully it can keep going though. Hopefully it can hit the second and the third targets eventually. And then COMP, this did hit the first target and it's went about halfway through to the second target. Now it's back testing this previous high, trying to flip that into a support. And then Ethereum's not a swing trade, but this basically broke above the 3300 resistance, tapped the 200 moving averages, now potentially breaking back under it. So apart from crypto, oil still in this triangle. That's literally your update. Until this breaks out, we just gotta wait. The Hang Seng Index, a little bit of resistance being developed over here at this gap fill level, around 22,381. Silver, still back testing, still has potential hidden bullish divergence. Not much has changed. We could focus a lot more on stocks than that, I guess. The dollar back testing this huge level once again, 97.77. Third time in a row you're back testing this level. Gold back testing. So just silver, gold, the dollar, they're all just kind of back testing right now. They're trying to flip, you know, they've had nice runs. Now they're trying to flip their previous resistance areas into supports. And you are accompanied by hidden bullish divergence on gold and silver. And this is a very, very interesting setup. I mean, you know, this is now not one, but two bullish pin bars or hammers that were developed around 1890 on gold, which is very, very important. I mean, this is showing that there is price rejection to the downside, okay? Which is a good thing if you want this to go up. And now we're starting to see, like I talked about, like back literally at this high, this potential cup and handle starting to form. So there's that. And the US 10-year is soaring higher after that breakout we talked about a couple months ago, back in the beginning of the year, and has some resistance around 2.5, pulling back off of that level. So we'll see what happens. All right, the VIX has just made its first lower low in a pretty long time, which is nice to see. So you can't have hidden bullish divergence because it's a lower low. And the VIX also is back in this range that it was in for, you know, ever since really April of last year, apart from, you know, these last few months of a bear market. So you're back in your range. You just touched on the 200-day moving average on the VIX. That's really it. So moving on to the overall market and what is going on. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. I'm about to break down my thoughts on the stock market. We called the bottom, okay? And I wouldn't say I called the top, but you know, I did share some interesting charts last night. Shout out to Papa Strada, sorry for mispronouncing that, for spotting this wedge that I'm about to show you on the S&P. I'll just show it to you right now. This rising wedge. He spotted that I think like 2 days ago, and I shared it with all of you last night on Twitter and in the Discord coming into today. If we go over to that announcements channel, you can see right over here. This was 7:38 p.m. last night, exactly 24 hours ago, pretty much. I shared that rising wedge. SPY was at 459. SPY is now at 451. Actually bounced up a little bit after hours, but it went down to 451. So very textbook stuff. You broke down from your wedge, and on the 5-minute chart, there was a lot going on, a lot of choppiness, a little bit. If you were day trading SPY today, it could have been very frustrating up until like this point when it actually started falling. But yeah, we had this multi-level range on the S&P 500, and I also did mention that this was breaking down. There you go, at 457, I said it's breaking down, and you could see what happened after it fell under that blue zone. That was the real fall. But yeah, you had a multi-level range. It was kind of like Wyckoff distribution. And you even, you know, you broke down and then you back tested the breakdown twice. And I did get nervous on both of these times because we're going to talk about some Tesla puts after I talk about the market. But you back tested VWAP and the supply line and this previous support. Like, you know, you had multiple bearish variables that you're back testing. It got like, watching this live was very like kind of like nerve-wracking, especially if you were in puts, like because you just kept testing it, like literally 1, 2, 3, 4 times. You just wouldn't break down, and it was like, why are you not breaking down? Like it was so obvious that the breakdown was coming, it just wasn't coming, which was weird. And then finally on the 4th or 5th try, eventually you actually gave it up. But just a lot of random bounces that just didn't really make a lot of sense. Just a lot of back testing. You know, I think maybe it was the fact that we've been going straight up without any major dips, so people got so accustomed to this autopilot mode that I did talk about potentially happening like a week and a half ago. People got so used to the autopilot mode where every single dip was bought, and that they were just thinking, all right, there's no way the market can start going back down. And then finally, after not 1 but 2 but 3 but 4 tries of people just trying to keep the market in autopilot mode, the bears finally got their day for the first time in a while. We had a red day yesterday, but it really wasn't like today, especially the last couple hours of the day. So you gave up that range. There was even this gap fill over here. You know, you held the gap fill level for a little bit, you back tested again, and then you broke it. And yeah, I mean, if you were in the Discord, I was warning about this breakdown literally the whole entire day. So make sure you join the Discord. The link is in the description. It is free to join. And that was your S&P 500 price action from today. Will the pullback continue? I don't know, because what I was thinking when we were actually at this gap fill level and we were holding it for like 2 hours, I was thinking coming into today that like 451, 452 might be where we hit tomorrow, but we ended up actually just pulling at the end of the day and hitting that today. So if we just held that gap fill level today, I would probably come on stream and said, I think we're going to see more downside to around 451, 452 tomorrow. But we already did that. We did that in the last hour and a half. And that level was a very key level that I have charted over here. It used to be resistance, and it was support twice, resistance again. So now you're back in it. So you're basically back testing a breakout at this point of this blue zone you can see on my chart. So going tomorrow, very simple. You start bouncing off this zone, that could be good. If you break under this zone, I mean, then you get to this area, like all of this area where you can get that high volatility again, rather than we've had for the past couple of days. So yeah, this was your largest red candle, I think, largest red 4-hour candle since we bottomed out. So you can definitely see the bulls have lost a certain level of control. And yeah, we did talk about this shooting star candle, or the hanging man candle, my last stream, which was Tuesday, I believe. We even talked about that gap up being a signal, and this wasn't even me that spotted it, somebody else on Twitter spotted it, where these like large gaps have acted as reversals very, very often, which is very interesting. So we had that happen again. So yeah, if you can't hold that 452 level I talked about, then I think your 200-day moving average is the next level to watch, around 448. Okay, so that's your S&P 500. We need to bring up the legs. All right, we got 30 people in here, 13 legs. That's not going to work. All right, let's get those legs up to like 20. QQQ, we talked about how this was testing the 200-day moving average, that rejected. Even on the 1 hour, this broke down of a rising wedge. And yeah, I mean, one thing that actually makes me really, really happy, lemons are juicy. We're going to be talking about AMC and GameStop and a few others in a few minutes, probably 5-10 minutes, but I'm just doing the market coverage right now. One thing that I actually love about the last few weeks in the market is I can come back to the last few weeks in the market literally forever and make a fool out of all of these fundamental only TA is fake traders, because we had, like, you really couldn't make a bull case for the market coming into, at least fundamentally. And I'm sure there's going to be people saying BS about, oh, it's because, you know, this and that. Like, okay, we had the Fed, we had war, we have inflation, we have the interest rates. Like, everybody was insanely bearish, okay, insanely bearish down over here. I didn't see anybody else saying, oh, the market's about to rally, it's about, the bottom is in. I really didn't. Maybe apart from like 1 or 2 people I see Keanu trades in the chat, that's one. But all these fundamental only traders, like, go back and look at how Twitter looked like in the beginning of this month. And now you see this crazy rally. And then they all start flipping to the bull side, trying to make up these random pieces of news. And then we start breaking down from this rising wedge, and they're just flip-flopping. Like, it's the craziest thing to me. But like, literally, if you go back to my streams over here that were only based on technicals, and I literally even said, like, word for word, let me see if I can find this. Here, I literally said word for word, I am calling the bottom solely from a technical standpoint. There wasn't a fundamental standpoint to give for why I thought the market was bottoming. It was solely from a technical standpoint. And there was your crazy rally, and honestly, that rally was crazier than I even expected. And then now You broke down from your wedge, and now you're going back down. So what fundamentally changed between 2 days ago and today that you're selling off, you know? So I'm probably going to replay this clip whenever we have some people arguing that only fundamentals matter and technicals are astrology. But there you are. So apart from that, the Russell 2000, we talked about this breakout. It's still back in the range that it was in. It already broke out. It's already had a couple nice days after the breakout. I think 205 is the key level you're going to want to hold. It's your lows from the end of January and your highs from the beginning of this month. So that's a big level to watch for tomorrow on the Russell 2000. The ARK ETF, this had a nice little run after breaking out of that 1 hour triangle we talked about, and now pretty much filled the gap, I think from yesterday morning maybe. No, the day before. So that's that. 61 is your closest support on the ARK. Maybe he's breaking a little bit of a demand line over here. So yeah, you're getting mixed variables, but I think the clearer times were when we were breaking down from the wedge earlier in the day. But also another key level. So I just said watch 205 on the Russell 2000 tomorrow, make or break area, and then also watch this level we've been talking about for a while on the NASDAQ, okay? Tomorrow's going to tell whether we're going to be back testing a breakout of this 14,180 level, or if we're just going to be up thrusting above it and we're just going to give it up in 2 days. We'll see tomorrow. So yeah, that's what's up with the market. That's my thoughts on the market. We had 2 very, very tough days to day trade, at least based on my system. You know, either times like this or times like this are very easy. When you just have like these low volatility, up down choppiness, makes it a little bit tougher. So I didn't really alert that much. I don't even really know how much I've alerted. Yesterday I alerted 2 things. The QS was a break even, and then the puts worked out. And then today we're gonna have a long talk about this, and like probably I'm gonna do GameStop, AMC, clov, FSR, and then we're gonna talk about Tesla for like the rest of the stream. I gotta do the swings too, but there's your market. Chart the levels, watch the levels. That's really all it is. That's all it is. Okay. Chart the levels, watch the levels. All right. What's the Mr. Miyagi quote? Not quote, but wax on, wax off. Yeah. Chart the levels, watch the levels. Okay. That's literally it. So that's the stock market. Futures are slightly green, up about 0.25%. Now we're going to talk about AMC and GameStop a little more in depth. I'm going to talk about FSR and clov at the same time, and then I'm going to talk about actually, even before we do that, let's do the swings really quickly just to give an update. Forward, bad start to the swing, but it did pretty much just about close right above the 200-day moving average. I just feel like I used like a lot of words there. It was a pretty simple sentence, but it closed just above the 200-day moving average, held 1650 as support. Good. You know, look at the weekly chart on forward. Hidden bullish divergence is still there. You're still above the demand line. It's all good for right now. Just waiting. Hopefully you can bounce up, make another higher low maybe. NEO. This was lower last Friday, and yesterday at one point I think this was up 18%. Now it's only up 7%. It was up. Should have been a closer target. It was up 22%. In 3 days after the alert. Now it's only up 8. So hopefully NEO can get back above 22. It's crazy, like so many of these swings, like they're so close. I need to start lowering the targets a little bit. But again, you can always get your own targets, you know. Pen, still just kind of in its little sideways range. You know, not much has really changed for Pen. Between like 41 and 45, 45, 50. It's just still kind of going sideways. And Facebook down 2%. I'd see if Facebook can hold 218.5. That's a big level. Hopefully can, broke above it now. Hopefully can back test it. And then Smile Direct Club, it's already hit the first target, but it's starting to pull back off that level. A little bit of classic bearish divergence has developed. That's nearly confirmed. So those are the swings. Pretty simple. We already talked about the crypto swings. Most of the swings are doing well, but we are starting to see this pullback. So again, I run the sheet how I run the sheet, but remember, you got to trade however it makes sense for you to trade. All right, keep the gains when the gains are there. Now, in terms of AMC, we already talked about how they hit the PCZ of bullish Garley. It hit the resistances. All 4 targets of the swing topped out at the 200-day moving average. That was also previous support. Like again, textbook levels. Of course, technicals didn't make AMC go up 100%, but they gave you the levels as to how much it went up, when it went up, where it stopped going up. My last stream, I was telling you all that I was finding resistance over here, and that if it were to pull back, there wasn't much support to like the lower 20s. You went down to 23 today, and then now it's up after hours, probably on a sympathy to GameStop with the split rumors or whatever. I don't know if it's news rumors, but on lower time frames for AMC, you do have some hidden bullish divergence. Okay, on the 16-minute, not on the 16, on the 30-minute, you can see it. Not much apart from that. I guess it kind of broke out a little bit before the market even closed, and now it's up a little bit more. So kind of like a little bit of a wedge breakout there. Not really any big levels it was at, to be honest. Got around a 50% retrace, so that's really it. I mean, you're just kind of sandwiched in between two levels, 32 resistance. You have doji candle today. It's really it for AMC. In terms of GameStop, it's up big after hours. You can see it's at 195 right now, pretty much testing its rally highs. This was a lot more technical of a bounce. And I did bring this up yesterday, or maybe even the day before. And I think I even talked about this level on stream on what day was it? Tuesday, maybe? Yeah, I did talk about this. But yeah, I identified this $160 support on GameStop. And you could see it used to be a resistance over, you can see it used to be resistance over here, support over here, and that ended up being your support before it made this move. Boom. So what was once a resistance flipped into a support, you got a catalyst, and then you went up quite a bit. You went up to your next resistance, which is just your rally high. And in terms of levels for GameStop, it's at where's extended hours now? I think instead it was at 195. All right, resistance is 200. That's a psychological level, obviously. And support is around 160. Break above 200, 230 is your next resistance. Break under 160, 144.55 is your next support. All right, you've obviously got your 200-day moving average within that as well, and you can use Fibonacci. So those are those. That made sense. And now we're going to talk about Tesla for a little bit, but keep hitting that like button, hit the subscribe button. I don't know, where's the vibes at? Where's the vibes at? Let's see what's in the chat. Hey Wes says, excited to see what tomorrow brings, just stopping in at work now. I think I've seen like 4 people say that. Thank you for stopping in though. Zeke says, patience on your trade thesis. Yes, we're going to break down this trade thesis in a second here. GameStop tomorrow, 250 possible. It's GameStop, you really never know. 250 is a resistance level, 252. You'd have to break 230 first though, which is this high from September and June of last year. But we've got multiple levels before you even get there, so you probably want to watch those first. Oh, okay, those are the vibes coming in from Eric, Scrooge, KTF, Barcelona, and Corey. Keanu was saying, bottom callers, we made history, we are wizards. A West says, oh wait, no, I already said that one. Me Tenderfoot says, champ, your perspective on the markets is that of a 20-year portfolio manager. And the crazy thing is I'm not even 20 years old, rather than a 20-year portfolio manager. Many thanks for your thoughtful analysis. Thank you very much. It's really appreciate that chat. Really appreciate it. Michael also saying, stopping by to say vibes, I'll catch the stream later. DJ Tartar says, stopping by to quickly say hey and drop a like. It's 1 a.m. here, so back to sleep. Yeah, I know, this going live like an hour early here and there, it kind of messes up the schedule for everybody. I apologize for that. But you all can watch replay, and the views have pretty much stayed the same. So it looks like, there's not as many people watching live, but a lot of you right now are watching the replay. What's up? If you're watching the replay, Am I back? I always cut myself. Well, the Wi-Fi always cuts me off, I guess. I don't know. Are we here? Can you see me? Drop a 1 in the chat if we're good. I think we're good. Oh, wow. All right. So I don't know. I don't even know if it showed like it was lagging. But literally just told me that the stream is about to end because I lost connection. So I don't know what is going on. But where was I? I was saying, if you're watching the replay, what's up? I know a lot of you can't watch live anymore, so drop. Also, comment 1. All of you are in the live chat, so you can't comment 1. But if you're watching the replay, go comment 1 in the video comments. I don't know what I'm saying, so let's start getting back to stocks. And we pretty much covered everything, so I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about what I was honestly thinking about even making a video about this, but I guess we'll just keep it in the stream. So there's multiple parts to this. I'm going to just kind of do it chronologically. We're going to start with my original thesis. Then we're going to be talking about what happened today, and then I'm going to talk about what I think can happen the next few days. All right. Actually, we're going to start even before that. We're going to talk about where the bottom was, and then we're going to talk about to where we are now. Okay. Tesla. What is going on? So we go back a little bit in time. When we were over here, I told you all that Tesla was breaking out, okay, of the 200-day moving average and of this falling wedge. I also showed you all how bullish Tesla looked to me on the weekly on 2 Wednesdays ago, pretty much exactly 2 weeks ago when I did the stream with Keanu Trades. And we were both talking about that breakout. I believe it was like right over here, March 17th maybe. And Tesla had one of its craziest runs in a very long time. This is the best run it's seen, I think, since this run over here. Tesla went up about 46% in 2 weeks, okay? And Tesla came up to this 1115 level where you can see clearly with the arrows, we have rejected for the last 2 days, for 2 days in January, for 2 days in December, and for 2 days in November. This is a very real level of resistance that I noticed that Tesla got up to, okay? And this is pretty much where we're at as of last night. So we're not caught up fully just yet. All right, this is going to be very, very educational, even if it doesn't play out. But it is very interesting to see what is taking place here. So this is premium and the watch list, and I'm going to break down to all of you what trade I'm currently in, what my thoughts on this trade are, and where I see it going, and what has happened already. Okay. So this is in premium. Also, before we even get into it, because it's going to be pretty much the rest of the stream, I believe I can show this. Workshop is going to be taking place this Saturday at 3 p.m. We did a free trial. If you joined that free trial and you were trading options, there was like a 10 win streak during the trial. You pretty much were able to get like months and months of premium for, not for free, but for your work that you did during that week during the free trial, right? But if you didn't even join the trial, this is another cool opportunity where on top of everything you see here in premium, you're also going to get access to a private workshop taking place this weekend. You know, since we had a full week of a trial, I didn't want to take away from the value of everybody's membership. So I also wanted to do a workshop. We've done public and premium workshops before. This one's going to be for premium only. I'm going to do public workshops again in the future. There's actually one that there's 2 or 3 workshops, I think, that you can watch right now. If you want to see what the workshops are like, go to my description and there's a playlist called Free Course. In the free course, you go to the bottom of it and then you can see a few different ones. Let's see if I can pull it up really quickly before we talk about this Tesla trade. And also, you're not missing a lot, okay? You're not missing a lot when it comes to this Tesla trade because what I'm hoping for really hasn't even happened completely. But we're going to get to that in a second. I just want to show this really quickly. Here you go. This is the free course. Link is in the description. It's available to all of you. And you can see over here, this is not, all right, these two, the last 2 videos in the course are both workshops. This was a premium only workshop. This was a workshop for everybody. So if you want to see what the workshops are like, these are 2 examples, and this workshop will take place on Saturday. One thing we'll be talking about a lot this Saturday is scaling in, scaling out, risk management, short-term trades, just a lot of that stuff. We're going to have a Q&A. It's going to be cool. So if you want to join the workshop and be in the call and ask me questions and just be there live, join before Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. The link for premium is in the description. And now we're going to talk about Tesla. All right, so let me recap everything I sent to the Discord yesterday. So yesterday is exactly a day ago. My next potential huge trade, Tesla puts. By huge, I mean that the reward to risk is great, okay? And that multiple variables are lined up. Of course, you know, I don't know if this is going to be a huge trade. That's why I'm saying a potential huge trade, right? But I'm saying, you know, nothing's certainty, not financial advice, so keep all that in mind. And this is really where we're at. So we already talked about this earlier in the stream, the fact that SPY is breaking down from this rising wedge. Shout out to Papa Strata for noticing this. And yeah, 10% in 2 weeks is just really, really extended. Now, we already just talked about this on Tesla on the daily. It hit this major resistance level and also has this gap to fill over here at 1022, 1021. So we have that. Let me go full screen for this. All right. So we have that gap to fill. We also have a bearish cipher on the 4 hour, textbook bearish cipher. So on top of multiple rejections of resistance, I need to slow down. Multiple rejections of resistance and a gap fill. You also have a bearish cipher, and your PCC perfectly lines up with resistance. Then on the 1 hour, just like how the market is breaking that demand line or the wedge, the Tesla, this was actually, I sent this before it. It was testing the demand line last night when I sent this message, but it actually broke this demand line today. Let's see if we can find it. I think I just sent it in chat. I'm not sure if I sent it in the options updates channel. Oh, I did. So it actually broke down from this demand line today. All right, so you have a 1 hour demand line. On the 30-minute, you get a rising wedge breakdown and a back test. And this is how I set up the reward to risk boxes. You know, these are pretty subjective, but basically it was at 1095, and my 3 downside targets, because again, their puts was 1054, 1041, and 1015. It's not hit any of the targets yet. But you can see that it has started off decently. You know, the overall idea, regardless of any puts, is in profit. So even without puts, if this is just like a short, you know, it's in profit, it's going well. So that was my reward to risk. And then I also noticed yesterday that there was an algo flow dump via trading ticks at the end of the day. All right. And then the weekly seasonality for Tesla is not good towards Thursday and Friday. You could see it leans towards the beginning of the week being better. And then kind of the second half of the week typically is not as good for Tesla. I also noticed that call volume was dropping. This is all via trading ticks. I also noticed that call volume was dropping pretty much over the past week substantially. And then I said coming into today, I will primarily be watching next week's out of the money puts that are about 10% lower. However, I don't plan to hold for more than a few days. So that was the analysis coming into today. This morning, I alerted Tesla puts, and it was a pretty interesting move throughout the day, which we're going to talk about. So yeah, they expire next week for a reason. And again, I don't think that's going to make this huge drop literally by tomorrow, so I'm not going to share weekly puts. And you know, when you extend out, you go further out, your contracts can be more expensive. In general, Tesla has you know, more expensive options compared to most other things that I alert in premium. So I had to kind of, you know, go out of the money enough so that it was even somewhat. Usually none of the contracts are 623 per contract. You just scroll up, you could see 50 cents, $1, 18 cents, 365. You know, I usually don't try and go over like $5 a contract, you know, especially for people that are, you know, trying to scale up in accounts, and, you know, for newer traders, you know, again, because we're looking at this as a percentage of whatever your account is. And then also if you want to scale multiple contracts, that adds up. So, you know, I got to go out of the money, and it's Tesla. So the options move very, very, very quickly. There's a few different things that makes it a little bit tough, which I mentioned over here. I got to line it up with the market, and I have to set some sort of risk parameter for me to mark it on the sheet. So there's a lot of different things that need to take place just to alert Tesla puts. It's a lot harder to alert puts on something like Tesla compared to like something like FSR or clov, which actually I would never alert FSR or clov puts. So let's not use that example. Let's say SPY or IWM. Okay, so sorry. Those are just the first 2 stocks that came up in my mind. So I guess that's also a good thing. I don't think I've ever had clov puts to that point. I think one time, this was even too long ago, I accidentally got Fisker puts when I was trying to get calls, because on Webull I was already preloaded into the puts chain because I was getting puts on, I think, the SPY, and I got Fisker puts for like 20-30 seconds. Like literally the second I saw I got them, my heart dropped. I lost a part of myself, and I immediately got out of the puts and switched back to calls. And I think the calls actually worked out pretty well that day, but a little bit of an accident there. So sorry Henrik, if you're watching. Also, Henrik, get back to my tweet. So yeah, I said, you can always tailor the contracts to fit your risk tolerance a little bit better. Never blindly follow what I share. If this is out of your risk tolerance, it's out of your risk tolerance. And you also have to do the math. Initially going into it, I was thinking about following the standard 20% rule, but that changed throughout the trade, which we're going to go over. And then I also said, always remember to adjust your position sizes based on the contract prices, which is something I've talked about on stream multiple times. So this was the alert this morning. And it hasn't really, oh, there we go. The emojis are coming in. It hasn't really, I know it's still on for sure. There we go. It hasn't really, that always throws me off. It hasn't really played out for what I wanted to do, but let's break it down. All right. So now we're kind of caught up to where we were this morning. So what happened throughout today with the Tesla puts, and what do I think is going to happen throughout the next couple of days potentially? Let's break it down. You already know my thesis for the trade. So first off, we need to start with the overall market. Okay. Overall market was choppy for the SPY up until the last couple of hours of the day. This whole entire range over here, we got some of the worst timing ever, where multiple times Tesla was breaking down intraday, the SPY would just randomly bounce up, and then it would just fall back down. Like it was like literally Tesla puts were starting to finally break down, everything was going good, and then the SPY just goes up like 0.10% in like 2 minutes, and then the SPY starts falling back down, but then Tesla doesn't fall back down. So the choppiness was very, very difficult throughout the day. On both of these peaks over here, the Tesla puts were down about 20%, but I did say something which I'm going to show you all. And it just got very, very choppy, very, very, it was a nail biter, okay? So it was also a very educational day for myself and for many other people here. And I'm actually really happy about today because, one, as of right now, it's just like pretty much like nothing technically happened, because I'm just going to spoil it for now. The puts are pretty much around the same that they were that I shared in the morning. But basically, I shared the puts around over here, and it was not a great entry, but like I said earlier, I have to time the Tesla trade. I have to try and pick out a top. I have to get contracts that are out of the money so they're not too much more expensive than all the other contracts. I got to try and time it with the market, and the options are super volatile. It's really, really hard to get an exact entry, which is why I gave all of those announcements in the premium chats. But basically, you had this initial one. It was all good. They didn't really eat at the contracts that much. It was cool. And then over here, when you started going sideways over here, Theta was just eating up the contracts for a few hours. And it did get a little bit tough. And right over here, like literally if it would have just went up to like right over here, I would have had to have marked the Tesla puts red. And I'm going to break down what I sent in the chats and in options updates at this point. But it was just very, very crazy. And then finally, we got a nice pull at the end of the day. But it's not even about the trade even playing out. This trade could fail. It could, right? But it's about the amount of education we got just from today of this trade of day one that I'm going to break down right now, which is like something that I want you all to remember like forever. All right. So we're going to start with just the options updates channel. And look at this is all for one trade. And again, I don't do this much analysis for one. This is maybe the first time I've done this much. And this is only the options updates. I already showed you all this analysis in the watch list. And then I had literally analysis the whole entire day in the chat. That's why I'm saying this is so educational. I even made a comment earlier in premium today saying, if I was like a beginner to trading, I would join premium just to see the chat from today. Because it wasn't only just me, like the teamwork was crazy. Like I'm going to show all of this to all of you right now so you can get the education value. But literally I would have joined premium just to see what I'm about to show all of you on the stream for free. So again, I'm just really happy with how things turned out from an educational standpoint. And hopefully I'll be happy about how the result turns out, but we'll see. So let's get started with all of this breakdown. So Tesla demand line breakdown in the morning. And basically the beginning of the trade was what we call a back test, right? We broke down from this wedge on Tesla. It's on my 30-minute. Okay. Tesla broke down from this wedge yesterday before I even alerted it. But the first half of the day, Tesla decided to back test the wedge. So basically throughout the day, up until like the last hour of the day, the puts were losing their value. Theta was eating away at the puts when it was going sideways and the market was being choppy, and it was also back testing previous support as resistance, or the previous demand line as a supply line. So it was a little bit tough, but that toughness and the duration of that toughness allowed for a lot of more bearish variables to start developing, which I'm going to talk about. So basically, the first half of the day of the trade was just back testing, right? And that's what we were doing. We were back testing. I was saying to look at a retest of that previous supply line. You started retesting it, and then this was literally, I believe, your session high. Let's see if we can spot it. Yeah, at 11 o'clock. And again, the education value is insane. Like I literally said, right over here at this exact area at the session high candle, hoping for rejection of this general area, otherwise we'll mark red. Okay, so this was the first time I said that I was maybe going to mark the trade right if this level didn't hold. I think 3 times during the day today, I shared a chart and a level, and I said, if this doesn't hold as resistance, I'm going to have to mark this trade red. And all 3 times, like literally hit that exact level, and then boom, it pulled back down, which made the puts go back up. So it was like, that's just what was just crazy about it. Like, let's keep going. Okay, so this was the first time it happened where the trade was hanging by a thread, but miraculously, the technical that I was hoping for it to play out played out, right? And you got it. You rejected it. I said you got a decent rejection on the first test, and you continue to reject that area. It was all good. I even noticed a lot of out of the money flow for, I think, April 14th was very bearish. A lot of puts were coming in. And then we got that back test, and then you started selling off again. You had some hidden bearish divergence develop as well. And then you started pulling into the VWAP. You broke the VWAP for a little bit. And then I also noticed, and I did share this everywhere, Twitter, Discord, in and out of premium, that the SPY was starting to break down. And this breakdown was not as simple as it looked. And we talked about this earlier in the stream. It like literally kept testing the support until like the last hour of the day before it finally gave, which screwed over the puts for a little bit today, which we're going to talk about. So then Tesla started going back up towards the VWAP, right? And at this point, with all this sideways action, the theta was just eating at the puts. So I think over here, the puts were probably around like, the low $5 area. Remember, they were alerted at 623. And that, the puts were at like around like the mid to low $5 area. And the only other time that they were there was up over here. So you could see you weren't even at that high of a price, but the puts had lost value because even though you were going down over here, you were still technically going sideways because you started rallying back up, and the theta just kind of devalued the puts, right? So at this point, this was like the second time the puts were getting back down towards that negative 20% level, which is where I, share like my risk management that I've talked multiple times on stream, or my potential areas where I mark the trades red. And I did say over here, so this was, okay, so we already talked about the first time it almost had to be marked a red trade. This is the second time, okay? I said, I know it, 1 second. Up over here, I said, theta did a lot of damage. I'm going to use a 30% stop for the sheet, okay? So it was pretty much around like an 18, 19% loss at the time. And I said, I'm actually going to use a 30% stop. And I pinged everybody that I was going to change it to a 30% instead of a 20%, right? Increasing the risk because I still thought that there was a good chance it could start, Tesla could start dropping again and the puts could go back up. I was watching the VWAP. I was watching the market potentially breaking down, and it worked. Second time. I said, I know it seems rough and whatnot, and I already talked about this in the beginning when I started breaking this down. There's just so many different things you have to calculate with Tesla compared to other options. But yeah, the puts weren't even down 20%. I just wanted to add some extra when we saw the choppiness intraday. And it worked out. It rejected the VWAP on that test. And at that point, the SPY actually almost broke out itself. It was right over here. This was the real nail biter, which I'm going to show you in the chat. But SPY almost broke out. Like Tesla was finally, like, we can look at the time, right? This is around like 250-ish. Let's go to around 250-ish. Right over here, Tesla was rejecting VWAP. Everything was good. The puts were starting to go back up. It looked like we were rejecting an upside breakout. And then this candle happens because literally as soon as we're starting to reject the VWAP, the SPY just shoots up 0.25% in 10 minutes. And it almost breaks out of the VWAP. And if that were to have gone just a little bit higher, I'd have to mark the trade red. But the level I was watching, the level I shared, it held. Okay, that level held again. And then we were clear. So I believe that was the third time. So 3 different times in a row, I had to, reassess the trade a little bit to give it a little bit more room, because I noticed that it was kind of like the composite operator was just trying to stop hunt the trade, and it worked out. And it wasn't even just me noticing these things. I'm going to go over the chat in a little bit. Other people as well were sharing the same exact analysis that thankfully saved, I'm sure, a lot of us, you know. So yeah. And then this was also cool, like literally 10 minutes before the close, it was testing the support. And I said, under this level, I think Tesla can flush. And then literally like, I mean, let's look at the time. 4 minutes later, it flushed. It broke the level and it had like its worst red candle of the day. So that was also cool. So I did overnight 100% of the position. And you pretty much just watch the journey of $6.23 puts, or $6.23 puts, falling down to like 460, 470, then coming all the way back up to only close down like 3%, and Tesla options moved 3% in like literally seconds. So they pretty much just closed flat. So yeah, definitely got a few more gray hairs after all that analysis, and this was only half of it. I mean, not probably a third of it. Most of it was in chat, which I'm going to show you all right now and show you all the teamwork, but yeah, so why am I happy that the trade didn't really play out yet? One, how insanely educational this is, okay? Two, the fact that with all the ups and the downs and certain people, I know like the lump did this, you could have caught a lot of amazing trades just as day trades. Because again, it went from like 623 down to like 5, back up to like 560, down to 460, back up to $6. You know, it went down and then up, like it was just crazy. And we were charting it second by second throughout the day. It was all, you know, like look at all this analysis. All right, where do we start? This was only the last hour? Oh my God, like literally I'm telling you, the chat from today, like and we're still going. So this is what I'm happy about today. It's just like when I started premium, like I just wanted to create a space where like, you know, just teamwork could be done, and it didn't even initially start with day trades, but now that we're at a point where like so many people who've been in premium for like 2, 3, 4 months, they've gone from just kind of lurking in the chat to like now like helping me with a lot of analysis, and it just helps everybody. You know, it's just like everybody's helping everybody. And again, you know, this is all day trade stuff. Whenever there's just like market stuff and swings, I'm still sharing that outside of premium. I'm just saying we can get started with this, and the stream's lagging again. So I'm gonna have to just kind of run through this really quickly. I'm assuming the stream's okay. All right, so we started out in the morning. SPY was testing this was the first time the SPY tested the breakdown today, and it tested it like 4 times, right? So you can just see how frustrating the SPY was intraday. Okay, so that's where we started. And let's start scrolling down. We'll just kind of run through it. So at this point, I had already alerted the Tesla puts, and I think it was around maybe flat at this point. And yeah, it was all about patience, right? You know, the theta was kind of screwing it over. The market was being choppy. But the bigger the fish, the greater the patience to catch it. Okay. So I said, number one key is to put yourself in a position where you're not scared of being stopped out ever. You just got to do the math. I'm going to talk about this during the workshop on Saturday. But this is when the trade started. You know, a lot of the times, especially when it's a more volatile trade, the first half of the trade might not go your way. And actually, some of my best trades, the first half of the trade went horribly for me, and then it turned into my best trade. My best trade ever, actually, was QS. And the first half of me being in QS, I was down quite a bit. But I stuck to my plan, and that ended up being my largest trade ever. This was February of last year. Very similar thing happened with not only myself, but a lot of other people on Fisker when it was SPAQ, right? So, you know, that's something I've definitely learned. But that also doesn't mean you just bag hold, right? There's a very big difference. You have to include one part to the equation, which is your risk management, right? And having a plan and following the plan. So this was when we had the back test. I shared that there was a lot of variables there. The back test was occurring. And you can just, I'm not going to read everything. It's going to take too long. But you could just see how much, and this is all for one trade, how much analysis was being done and teamwork was being done. Pizza Box was talking about 1085 as a level. That turned out to be this level that it eventually flushed under, but it did bounce off of multiple times. So we identified that level. Just keep going. And basically a lot of this is just what I already kind of talked about on the options updates, because that's where I just sent the summaries throughout the day. But you can just see, you know, the SPY kept on faking out. It just kept on faking out. And I had to break my phone. So I broke my phone because, I mean, what was the SPY doing? Why did it test the low of the day 4 times and didn't break it until the last hour of the day? So I threw my phone on the floor. I said I would do it. I did it. I broke it. I'm just kidding. That was broken weeks ago. Let's see. And then I had to go to class. Okay. And still waiting. I hope my parents aren't watching this, but I was, watching what was going on with the trading class. And then Tesla started breaking the 1 hour demand line. And then it broke the VWAP. So we kind of already talked about all of this. But you can just see, it's not just me sharing the charts. Like, a lot of other people are helping out with the analysis throughout the day. Sharing how it's going so far. Undershot was sharing some supply lines that did end up rejecting, thankfully. I noticed this little mini head and shoulders that appeared as well. And this was all, so you got to imagine, a lot of other communities, they'll have a trade that just doesn't work out and they'll just ignore it. They'll just only go and start focusing on the trades that are doing well and just talk about that and just ignore the one that did well. We literally all spent the whole entire day watching this trade and understanding that it didn't start off great, but it still had a lot of potential. And even though the trade was down, it was still creating more bearish variables like we wanted for the puts. I noticed the rounded top started to form. Also, Fisker, I don't know if we talked about this. I'll probably end the stream with Fisker if I remember, but Fisker, we're going to get to this in a second, or in a few minutes. And then this was towards the end of the day. Yeah, this was a nail biter. The puts were down, 20, 30, 20, 25%, and I said 30% was where I was going to mark them right, I believe. And it held. And the arrow eventually happened. The arrow that I drew, crazy. And this is when it starts getting very, very scary. The SPY started going back up again. I already told you all about this. Like QQQ, not QQQ, Tesla. It started finally breaking down. And then I said, come on, somebody tell SPY to chill. SPY started running up. I was like, what is going on here? And this was a nail biter. You could see right over here. The SPY just ran right up. And this is what I was saying right now. VWAP, supply line, and previous support here. So this was a make or break area, not only for SPY, but for the Tesla puts as well. And it worked. It worked. Safe for now. And then it fell back down. Nerve with the 21.
Learning something new every day. CNBC should have a champ hour. Love this community.
They should. Nerve, thank you very much for all the kind words on Twitter, for all the tips, for being here for years now at this point. Thank you so much for all the support. Vibes in the chat for Nerve with the $21 tip. I think you might be like the most, you and Zeke are definitely the most frequent tippers throughout the month of March. So thank you both. I think Zeke's in the chat. Yeah, really, let's go. Vibes in the chat. Thank you. But yeah, you can see it was pretty, it was getting scary. This is literally how I felt when the SPY ripped. Like, you just had to be there. I mean, for some, you just had to be there to feel what this was like. It was just crazy. And it was up, down with all the choppiness, and it just worked. The trade didn't necessarily work into a huge profit yet, and hopefully it still does. But the risk management just helped. And today was a good day in terms of understanding day trading, technical analysis, and risk management. There was just so much education provided from everybody. And I was saying, the theta sucks, but we have created a handful more bearish variables, not bullish, which we wanted the bearish variables. Then the SPY started breaking down again. And Zeke was sharing a little bit of a bear flag breakdown. BR saying that he was still in the puts. Also shout out to BR Music's been popping, I've heard, as you said today. Then you got a 3 black crows candle pattern on the SPY. And then that was going up and down, it was being weird. We were making fun of Mehdi for a little bit, I think. And the composite operator printed a bullish pin bar after 3 black crows. The SPY intraday technicals were a whole entire other story that I kind of got into a little bit earlier in the stream, but that was also just crazy. I was watch the pin bar do nothing, and then the pin bar did nothing. And it just felt like today was April Fool's Day for the market. And yeah, finally got the flush. We were breaking down. You're breaking down to this triangle, breaking down to this head and shoulders, breaking down from that zone, and then you got a nice little relief at the end of the day with a nice flush that brought the puts back to break even. And then, yeah, not even just break even for anybody who, you know, got in like at a lower point from when I alerted it, which I know the lump got in like almost towards the low of the day. And then I think took profits like twice. And then if you just cost average as well, you know, you could have been up really, really big already. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, yeah, this was literally the day, like literally the day. Just that last bit, and like again, like this was BR. Thank you for sharing these. Like this was just the analysis, and then boom, it just, you know, it just worked. So that was a price action. Who just chatted? I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's. You guys want to see the ETF managers chat? See what we're planning on doing for the ETF? But yeah, hopefully all of that was educational. It was a really crazy day. That technically wasn't crazy because we were going sideways, but the amount of education we got from that was crazy, if that makes sense. So yeah, you just saw the work that was done. Workshop's going to be Saturday. If you want to join, the link is in the description. That was the Tesla put. Hopefully it plays out. Hopefully Tesla, you know, creates a larger downside move for the puts. For anybody who's long Tesla, I can be wrong. Don't get scared because I'm saying this. You do whatever you want to do. You know, there's always two sides to every trade, and I always respect both sides of the trade. So, you know, I usually don't talk about puts that much on stream, but we trade puts here and there, and we'll see what happens with these. So that's Tesla, and I didn't even really want to bring this up on stream to like give out like an alert or something. Like this is all purely for education. That's why I just spent the last, I don't know if it was like 20 minutes just talking about this, because of the education value. It's not about exactly this specific trade working out, but it's about these variables can give you a good edge over a series of 10, 15, 20 trades. Mark Douglas talks about that all the time. It's something that's really helped me a lot. Something I tell a lot of other people. Don't think about this specific trade, right? Think about how your edge can play out over a course of multiple trades. Because when you focus too much, oh my gosh, my variables need to play out right here. That's when you start being emotional and you screw yourself over at that point. So you gotta be like water, like Cheddar Free says, like Bruce Lee says, you know, the quote, all that good stuff. So one ETF update. We were gonna do a call tomorrow, but I don't think it really makes sense to do it. But you know, we're doing updates in a sense every single day. I mean, for the most part, I know Lord Bogendorf has done a lot. So yeah, make sure you check out the ETF channel. It's not a real ETF, but yeah. If you enjoyed the stream, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for all the support. And that's a Tesla flying off of a road. All right, so have a good night. Good luck trading tomorrow if you choose to. For those of you that are going to be in the workshop on Saturday in Premium, I'll see you then. For those of you not in Premium, I hope that you're enjoying the streams, the course, all the other chats and the resources in the Discord, the swings, which have done pretty well lately. The ETF simulator, you know, I'm trying to help out everybody as much as I can. So hopefully you're finding a way to help yourself. You got to put in the work at the end of the day. So keep working, keep trying, keep improving every single day. Hit the subscribe button. Oh, Fisker, thank you for reminding me. Yeah. One last thing, Fisker. So news on reservations came out after hours, and Fisker has exceeded 40,000 reservations of Ocean SUV, and the company, we already talked about this just days ago, Fisker does not expect to raise prices because of, you know, the cost pressure, supply chains. They've already kind of, from what I understand, you know, they've kind of already set everything up. And the company will order pre-order reservations for the limited edition Fisker Ocean 1/Extreme. I think also the Extreme on July 1st due to the anticipated demand, which is good. So, so 40,000 reservations times $37,000 starting price. I think it's $37,500. We're just gonna do 40,000 reservations times $37,000 starting price. We're not even talking about the mid version or the extreme version, in which they're expressing that demand. Let me see if I can get like an actual quote from Fisker on. 1 second. Fisker. Okay. I think it was the actual company account that tweeted it. Give me a second here. It might have been in like the actual PR. So now I gotta go over to the website. Fisker Inc. Okay. All right, the company has indications that many reservation holders intend to purchase the Fisker Ocean 1/Extreme for 68 or 69K, okay? So Fisker will manufacture 5,000 limited edition Fisker Ocean 1 vehicles commencing in November 2022. Fisker believes it will potentially sell out capacity through most of 2023 with purchase orders of our premium models, okay? So that's really, really exciting because again, we've always talked about, you know, them having that 37.5 starting price, and there's no other EV that's offering what Fisker offers at that price. Nobody else is doing it. So there's that, but there's just also, now we're finding out there's a lot of interest in the higher end models of the Ocean. But again, take away that we even just saw that article that there's higher interest in those models and whatnot. Let's just do 40,000 reservations at a $37,000 starting price. Okay. And again, this assumes that all the reservation holders are actually going to get the car. But again, we're kind of offsetting that because we're not including the mid and the high end versions of the Ocean. I think that's like 1.48 billion. I don't know. That's just like off the top of my head. But the first time I actually did these numbers was like, it was like back in like November of like 2020. And I think it was like $500 million. So potential revenue of 1.5 billion, if I'm reading this correctly, if I did the math correctly. So Fisker has almost about a $4 billion market cap, okay, according to Google and Yahoo Finance. And this is the number we're seeing of already. Production hasn't even started. Potential revenue. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this ages in 5 to 10 years. But yeah, that's the stream tonight. Sorry if I messed up the math or whatever. There was a lot that went down the stream. It's been a long day of watching the SPY be choppy and puts go down and then up and then down and then back up. So we shall see what happens. Big Nate says with inflation, that's 2 billion. So there you go. All right. And of course, you also have to account for how much money they're making off of me buying all of their merch, right? You have to include that as well. You gonna let us know when you get the Henrik interview? I will let you know. I mean, it'll be for all of you, so you'll see the video. All right, so thank you for watching the stream. Join the Discord, links in the description. If you want to attend the workshop in premium on Saturday, the link's in the description. The free course link is in the description. If you want to donate crypto to Ukraine, the link is in the description. All right, have a good night, have a good weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to be live Sunday again. I know I wasn't live last Sunday or this previous Sunday, but we're doing the workshop on Saturday as well. Like, I need a couple days of rest, you know. So we'll see what happens. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. Peace out.
Internet, trust me, I got silhouette. Take a pic, take one more of that. Happy men get to see just what they get. DM slide, photograph is dating app. Heard about a drug affair, picture that. Parent situation, gotta live with that. Internet, trust me, I get rich with that. Who are you and what's your name on Instagram? I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. Password safe, you really saved my day. Look into my profile, it's an easy A. Say hello, just to say goodbye. I prefer dinner with my phone tonight. I'm alright, yes I am. Really looking sexy on my front cam. Internet, trust me, I get rich for that. Who are you and what's your name on Instagram? I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. You like me, I like you back. This is how we do it in the internet. You like me, and I like you back. This is how we do it in the internet. You like me, I like you back. This is how we do it in the internet. You like me, and I like you back. This is how we do it in the internet. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username, I do. I get chills when I hear your username.